welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about the wonderful Moondrop CHU, C-H-U, and it has this little thing here. I was not even going to focus. There we go. And anyways, these are the IEMs themselves. They're actually like more of an earbud style, and they are actually pretty attractive. They're actually really nice looking, and the thing I'm really excited about is they come with these really cool tips. But anyhow, we'll get into that here in a second. These were sent out by Hi-Fi Go, and thank you for sending those out, Hi-Fi Go. And they are not asking me to say or do anything other than my honest opinion regarding these lovely little IEMs. So let's dive into what these are all about. All right, cheers. On to the next one. All right, so opening the lovely package up, we get, presented with the IEMs. It has that little picture there and all that fun stuff. And the inbox is pretty enjoyable, I guess. It's kind of a wonky cable, but nothing horrible. The other thing with these are it comes with this little case, and it's a thing. It's not, I don't think I'd ever use this case, but yeah. On to the next thing. It comes with its, all the different paperwork, manuals, all that good stuff. Nothing too crazy, pretty ops normal for this kind of thing. And then we open up the next part, which is the lovely tips. And these were not the easiest thing to get out of the bag, because they have like this tackiness to them and stickiness to them. But the tips themselves are actually something to be very excited for. These things are really nice, and actually for the cost of these, the tips alone are almost make it worth it. And also, by the way, if you're noticing, my lovely nails are all prettified. That's thanks to Girl Dad life and having a daughter that wanted to prettify her papa's hands. And anyways, as you can see, these were sticking pretty good inside the little plastic bag that they came with. Outside of that, it was fine though. They once you get them out and get them on the IEMs themselves, they work pretty great. I did notice though with these IEMs and these tips that I went for the medium size initially with kind of putting these on, and that worked out okay. But when they were on the medium tips for me in my ears, the problem was that they sounded really thin, lifeless. There was no warmth. There was no low end. Honestly, they just sounded super extremely thin. Take that for what it is. So like I was saying, the tips are, once I moved up to like these ones, which you're kind of seeing now, is the biggest one, the large size. Once I moved into the large size, the sound came alive. The low end was definitely more punchy, a little more vibrant. The mids and highs still were a bit on the thin side, but I definitely think that if you get these, you definitely want to go for as big as your ear can handle to get the best sound. All right, so going into the IEMs themselves, the IEM case is actually really nice. The actual case of the IEM is really nice. It's really solid, and then I like the artwork on it. It's a really pretty looking, like a, I don't know, shoot of some sort, kind of like a flower almost, but not really. And the cable is a little bit on the janky side. It's not my favorite thing, but it's doable. That being said, it is connected directly to the IEM, so you can't actually detach it unless you're willing to take it apart and do some soldering yourself, which I'm not that proficient at, so I wouldn't do it myself. And for a $15 IEM, $15 to $20, depending on which version you get, it's not really worth it to me. So putting on the tips, I initially, like I said, put on the medium-sized tips, and those, they seem to fit properly. I seem to get a seal, but that being said, when I was using those, they were very thin, not the best sounding. Switching back over to the large later on really helped a lot. And actually, thank you very much to Josh Valor, who I was chatting with about these, and he was like, dude, put on the bigger ones or get a better seal and see how that does. And that actually helped a lot. So yeah, I think with that, the larger tips are what really brought these together, and I will go ahead and go into my final thought. All right, so final thoughts on the CHU. What you talking about? Like I said, thanks to Josh for getting me to try the bigger IEM tips with these. It helped drastically in the sound performance, and actually very impressed as far as like getting it to like a very enjoyable listen. I would say for $15 to $21, the $21 version comes with an inline mic. But as far as these as a $15 IEM, I mean, they're pretty dang good. really good actually for that price. It's, you know, great stocking stuffer, great I don't know, just gift, anything like that. Just make sure that the people you give them to know that they need to put the biggest tips on that will fit their ear to get the best seal, because that's when they really come alive. Otherwise, like I said, I was getting them, they were just too thin for me. They just sounded a little bit off. They're just like very meh, like they just, and I was like really just shocked at how not good they sounded. They weren't like horrible, they didn't make me want to like rip them out of my ear and throw them away or anything like that. They just sounded very dead and thin and not very good. And then once I switched over to the larger tips and putting those in, it really, you know, the low end really came alive. The mids and highs are still a little bit on the thin side, but they're not, you know, egregious, and they didn't make me not like enjoy it. For instance, I actually really enjoyed listening with these and was kind of impressed as far as like the overall sound characteristics of these once I actually had a proper seal with them. Which usually, you know, I like I said, I thought I had a good seal with the medium tips, but I went with the recommendation and went with the larger tips, and they do start to kind of push out, so I had to keep constantly kind of reseating them. That's also probably a, you know, anatomy thing for me, not necessarily for everybody. Another option would probably be if you went with like a soft foam tip or some sort. That would probably help with that seal. So final thoughts on these: really, really good for what they are. So I would say $15, $21 if you're looking for something that's a pretty solid performer and easy throwaway kind of IEM that you can just kind of keep in your travel bag or keep in your bag for, you know, on the go listening. You're not really worried about someone snagging them or them breaking. Actually, these are probably the best IEMs I've heard in that kind of like below $100 range, as far as like that kind of thing, where it's just, I'm not going to stress about these at all, and it's hell of a price. So with that, I'll catch everyone on the next one. This was a kind of a fun, quick video, so cheers. I'll see you on the next one.